The 8-year-old girl looked at my pregnant belly. "Where's your husband?" she asked. "I don't have a husband," I said, gesturing towards the woman standing next to me. "This is my partner, Barb. She will be my baby's mom, too. My baby will have 2 moms." Her forehead crunched and her eyes darted back and forth. She seemed to be processing this new information. 2 moms. And with her next breath, her face lightened and she smiled. "Cool," she said, as if the idea of 2 instead of just 1 seemed to appeal to her. Children get it. When there's love, it doesn't matter who it's coming from. Our children, Riley, 7 years old, and Stella, 2 years old, have 2 mommies. A severe lack of sperm, that was our infertility diagnosis. Yes, we're 2 women wanting to have a child. Our children won't have a father. The tiny vial from the cryobank that fits in the palm of my hand is not a father. We call him a donor. A generous and honorable man with integrity. A man we will never meet. Yes, 5 years after we met, Barb and I want to be parents. The moment I saw Barb for the first time, my heart started racing. The early days. Falling in love, so intensely passionate, bathing in each other's attention, fascinated by every word that parted her lips. She was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. She was funnier than anyone I had ever met. And the way her cut-off jean shorts hung from her hips was by far the sexiest thing I'd ever laid eyes on. Nothing else mattered in the early days of our relationship. The full attention, all sensory experience of falling in love consumed me. My heightened awareness, the presence in every moment, I was a Zen master in the early days. Our friends commented on the magic between us. "How did you know she was the one?" I don't know how I knew. How did I know that we would sell all of our belongings and move to New Mexico? How did I know that she would be the one I leaned on as I labored our 2 children into the world? How did I know it would be her that I share my life with, our dreams, our children, our home, our forever? I always knew I'd be a mother. I remember sitting in my mom's lap, studying her face. I would go from her eyes to the lines around her eyes, to her nose, to her mouth, to her cheeks, to her ears, to her hair. I knew her face better than I knew my own. I call her Wummy. I'm not sure exactly how it started, but my big sister and I call her Wummy, and she calls us Wummy, and my sister and I call each other sister. I am desperately and deeply connected to my mother. She confidently carried me, her 3rd child, despite the ambivalence and doubt that a 3rd pregnancy brings. I remember playing bank with her recipe box, flipping through my accounts, pushing buttons on a big adding machine. She was my customer, writing checks, making deposits. We said a prayer in the car when she dropped me off at kindergarten. We did it every day. The prayer would be to ease my sadness and despair at being separated from her. A way to find courage to get out of the car, wipe my tears, and walk to the classroom. I watched the clock and knew exactly where the big hand needed to be and where the small hand had to be until I could see her again. I felt whole again, complete, when I got to run into her arms at pickup time. I remember coming home late as a teenager. My mother would come out of her room with her nightgown and cold cream greasy cheeks, her eyes happy to see me, my eyes bloodshot, my speech slurred, slathering peanut butter on a banana or pouring ragu sauce over a piece of bread. My mom sitting at the kitchen table waiting to hear about my life, her posture saying there's no place she'd rather be. Ready to laugh, ready to listen, ready to completely, wholeheartedly be there to talk. She never seemed to mind missing a few hours of sleep. My mother is knit into my skin, into my bones, into my breath. She is home to me. I've always considered myself a homebody. I enjoy being home over just about anywhere else. Being in the world, in public, even in nature, on some level, big or small, drains me. There's always part of me waiting to get back home. Once I walk in the door, I'm at ease. What does a love that's 12 years old look like? Certainly not like it did in the early days. I wonder sometimes, is this it? Is this everything it could be, or is there something missing? Some days we barely look into each other's eyes. Have the kids eaten yet? How long did she sleep? Have you seen Riley's shoes? Sometimes days pass and we haven't even had a conversation that wasn't interrupted. At night, exhausted, we collapse into bed. Some nights not even touching each other. So devoted to our children, I wonder if we're losing what we once had. Sometimes I feel like we've gained so much. People don't comment on the magic between us anymore. We assure ourselves that our children are young and this time is so fleeting, there will be more time for us later. We bank on it. We trust it. Our lives have woven themselves together to be the blanket that holds our children. We have come to rely on each other so intensely, my chest tightens to imagine life without her. Is there magic in this ordinary life we have? It has to do with comfort, familiarity, security, my sanctuary. I think that's where I've arrived in my relationship with Barb after all these years. She is home to me. The years take their toll on the fire in our love. The blazing wildfire of the early days has changed. Now it feels more like a candle burning in the window, guiding me home.